Okay, this is the rear fog light installation. There are various kits you can buy on the internet that include everything you need. First part is the headlight switch. If you want to look up your part numbers. Okay, and looking at ours, it's pretty much exactly the same, except the bottom one has the fog light icon. So to remove this, all you do is pull it out. And it comes right out. I'm going to detach these connectors here, and then I'll start the next portion of the video once they're disconnected. Alright, new switch is in, very easy. Now, the only way you can turn on the rear fog light is if you're on this setting, then you pull it out. And there's no icons on the dash yet. I don't know if there will be once we do the programming or the coding. So this step's done, very easy. And then I'll let everyone know about the coding aspect of it, making this work with the electrical control module and all that stuff. So next phase will be actually installing the light and then the wiring that needs to be ran. Alright, so we've already removed the OEM grill here. I kind of explained this on a previous video. Here's the grill you're going to receive with the fog light kit. And you can see it just fits into the factory holes there. The actual fog light itself is part number here, if you can almost see it, not really. Right there. I'm not sure what the best way of getting this in here is, but we'll figure that out later. The kit usually comes with some screws. Mine was missing the screws for some reason, so I picked up these number 6 by 3/4 inch stainless steel screws. Oops. And that is basically going to go into these fog light screws to the grill. Like so. You'll see just like that. So I don't know if I can screw this in first and then install it, or if it has to be installed from the back, kind of like that. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I don't really want to remove the rear bumper again, but if I have to, I guess I'll have to. Alright, the final step is running the wiring. The kit here, I'm assuming this is the right part number for it. That box includes some leads here. I think those go into the central electronic module under the passenger floorboard area, and then a harness, and then like a bare plug. So this end plugs into the fog light, and then this is supposed to, I don't know, just vaguely run upwards somewhere. And I'm assuming that this plugs into here, but I put this in and try to squeeze it closed, and it doesn't lock shut. There's only 2 wires in here, is ground and then the signal. And I might just cut this and forget about this, because the ground here, this brown wire, goes to any chassis ground, or you can tie it into the rear tail light circuit or harness, because it's just a ground. It can go wherever. And then this purple or violet and green wire gets ran to the module under the passenger floorboard. So really, I mean, you really don't even need this because it's not connecting to anything, and it doesn't even come with the little rubber weather inserts. So I don't know if I'm gonna even use this. Second thought: if you are ever gonna upgrade your tail lights to the European spec or with the individual or specialized turn signals, you will have to run 2 more wires from the taillights to the module. So I'm going to run a total of 3 wires from back here to the module in the event that I ever install European taillights, just so it's done and I don't have to worry about it later. Alright, so you do have to install the light from the back, and it kind of snaps into place. And then what we're going to do is install the grill, pop it into place, and use a little stubby screwdriver through one of these holes, and then just screw the screws in to the back of the grill. And then we'll run the wiring, we'll plug it in here, and then figure out how it has to get up to the front. I know the instructions said there's apparently some kind of hole through the firewall behind the driver in the center console, but with a spider I'm not sure if that's available. So really, I mean, we just gotta get 3 thin wires from here to the front passenger footwell. So it feels like it's gonna be a pain, and I'm not sure at this point. So I'll install this, and then this will look really good like that. And then after the wires are ran and installed, we'll get another video, and then we'll do a short video on the coding to get this to work properly. Alright, so we had to remove the rear under tray and then a few bumper cover screws, but now we can bend this down enough to get, and turn the light on here, to get a hand in here and then put those 3 screws in. So you don't have to remove the rear bumper to do this. And this will give us easier pathways for the wiring harness to snake it up and then figure out where that's going to go. But I'll put those 3 screws in, and then we're in business for the install. Alright, so here's where I'm running the wiring. Just straight through here, we can kind of attach to these hydraulic lines or zip tie. And then here's actually a perfect chassis ground. So if we don't find anything else, we could tie in the ground wire to the fog light just right here. And then it goes straight through where you see it hooks up to there. I'm assuming the original routing was along the bumper to one of the plugs on the left or right side. But, I mean, that's just going to have to do. And after looking here, it appears that wherever the e-brake cables go, and the shifter cables, I'm assuming, wherever those pop through the firewall, that might be our best chance of sticking our wires through. And I don't know if we're going to need like a coat hanger, because I am not pulling off any more of these panels. So I think a coat hanger or something will work, and you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see, yeah, right where it's going through there, looks like that top left cable. So that might be where we pop through, and then we'll just do our best to tidy this up and make sure it looks not like OEM, but make sure it's not going to rub or cause any issues with anything else. So I will update the next portion of the video when we get to that point. But for now, it's looking like I can ground this out and then probably put most of the under tray back on, or at least screw the bumper back in here, and then worry about the under tray later. So till next time. Okay, so after taking apart all this, I found that you can just pull this panel off, and then you can have access to either the remote manual trunk release or this other grommet here. And that pops out underneath this triangle plate here. see it from that angle, but back in there, you'll be able to grab the wires, and then let me see if I get back here. Yeah, so you can see the wires that popped out right there under the gas tank here. And then we'll snake these either to the driver's side and then back to hook up to this, or we'll snake it up on the passenger side, whatever's easier. But I ran 3 back. One will be for the fog light, and then the 2 will be for the tail lights. And then the ground, the other wire, the ground coming out of the fog light, I'll figure out where to stick that, either back here, or maybe I'll run another wire into the cabin, because there's a lot of good grounding points in there too. So that's it. Very easy. And you don't have to take apart the center console at all. And actually the routing for that is going to be a lot easier, because we can just follow up under this panel, and then we're right here, tying into the box behind here. So next step, I'll run the wires, have them up here, pull this plate off, and then show how to hook it up into the electrical module. So here we are. We finally installed the rear fog light. Unfortunately, let me fix this first here. Unfortunately, with the 2014, there's no way to use the OEM headlight switch and code the module to get the rear fog light to work with North America and taillights. I've tried everything I could, worked with a lot of different people, and there's no answer. There's just not enough bytes and bits. This car uses too many of them, and the fog light seems to be controlled by 2 different bytes in the coding. So what I did, also if you upgrade to European taillights, which are like $2,700, then the rear fog light will work with the OEM switch. So, in the meantime, I took the stock headlight switch and installed a very clean looking rocker switch with a red LED. Just like that. I mean, that's as close as I could get to making this thing look stock. So, with this installed, obviously it doesn't matter where the lights are on for the rear fog light to work. So, turn that on, and then I ran the power down to the fuse box, which is down there. You just have to find, behind that plate there, you have to find a switched fuse and stick it on there if you want power. So, ta-da! There's our rear fog light. And, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. For the 2012 and prior, there's obviously no issues with running the European headlight switch and changing the coding, but for the 2014, the facelift, it's just not possible. So that's the next best thing, is this little switch here. And you will have to grind out, obviously, a hole and then grind some space behind there. But you can find this at Radio Shack. It's just a basic rocker switch with the LED. And red is on and that's off. So, also there's no icon in the gauge cluster anyways. A lot of VWs and Audis have like a rear fog icon, but this doesn't even have it. So the only other thing I found out when I was messing with the coding, if you want to enable the European parking light, which is when you turn
acquiring GPS signal.
When you turn the car off and it's hard to explain, so you can just Google European parking light. But you turn the car off and you can push the turn signal stalk down, and it will illuminate your left front indicator and your left rear indicator. If you do it to the right, and then it does the opposite side. So if you're parked on a street with no lights, you can turn this on and people will be able to see your vehicle easier. The only way to enable this is to change the coding of the cluster to anything other than United States, but then that changes your time to 24 hours, changes the date, and then changes the miles to kilometers in the odometer. So, I don't know. I don't really need it. If anyone's curious, that's what you need to do, because on my Gallardo it had that automatically stock. You can just flip it when the car is off and it would illuminate the parking lights. So that's it for now, until I decide or don't decide to get the European taillights to get everything working OEM. But I mean, honestly, if you didn't know, I don't think the general person or the general public would know this is not stock. There's no icon, obviously. I tried to find a switch with a fog icon, but they were all too big. So maybe I can, I don't know, stick something on here or find a sticker that's a fog light sticker. But that's it. If you have any questions, leave them and I'll answer them. But hopefully this will help some people figure out that it's not possible to do a rear fog light on a North American vehicle. Some people just tie the rear fog light into parking lights or running lights, or they tie it in as like a fourth brake light. But that's not what we're doing here. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.